Yo, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? It's Egal Talks Football. We are back again with another video. We got some major Arsenal news. There could be potentially more incomings this transfer window, as we've just found out today that out of absolutely nowhere, Fabio Vieira is officially leaving Arsenal Football Club on loan to go back to Porto. Also, Mikel Merino is flying to London. That deal is imminent, and we got a game versus Aston Villa tomorrow. And it looks like Edu, when he said you're going to be excited, he might not have been lying, because we are now opening the door by clearing out Eddie Nketiah, Smith Rowe, Fabio Vieira going on loan, Ramsdale potentially leaving on loan. It's going to be very interesting. But before we go any further, this is a call of duty to you guys, the chat, and everybody watching. Do me a favor, please like the video. It helps the channel out massively, and I need your help to continue to see the channel grow and progress. So if you can do me that favor, it means the world to me. As for today, I got my wonderful guest, Deo. Deo, how you doing?
I'm good, bro. I'm good. There is movement in the Arsenal camp. That's what I love to see. There's movement in the Arsenal camp. I said it. I was like, I'm just going to wait till the end of the window before I give my final verdict. And it looks like the players we've complained about that we've all said are not good enough. Not because they're bad players, but they're not good enough for where we're at right now as Arsenal Football Club and where we want to be. We see them moving those players out. And it seemed like they weren't going to do it, but like I tell people, you don't know what's going on in the background. Now, when the window is closed, if they don't do anything, then let's slam them. At that point, we can do it. If I don't mind, I'll do a marathon 12-hour live stream with you, just slamming Edu. Like I literally, but until then, I wanted to just give them the benefit of the doubt. And they seem to be operating more and more every day like a club that knows what they're doing. You know, makes me happy to see that my club is moving cool and moving correctly in the right direction. So yeah, big up to them. Fabio Vieira, his injuries are too much. He needs to go and play more time. He needs more game time. There's a player in there, but he needs more game time. So I think clearing him out gives room for another. Hey, why not? Eddie's going, so
Let's
that gives room for
let's
striker.
let's go see what the tweet says, because the tweet says some interesting stuff. Some interesting stuff from the tweet. So first thing you guys got to realize is, where did Fabio Vieira originally come from? And do me a favor, guys. I'm going to continue to say it. Please do hit that like button. It's a call of duty from you guys. I need your help. Next, we got David Ornstein. He came out, and I'm just going to read this out as quickly as possible. Porto agreed a deal to re-sign Fabio Vieira on loan from Arsenal, not in the Arsenal squad for the Aston Villa match, as Porto finalized a move to bring the midfielder back after 2022 sale. Moreno's arrival plus Waneri's rise reduces minutes for the 24-year-old and needs regular action. This is amazing on several fronts. This shows that we've learned from our situation last year from Aaron Ramsdale. One thing that I'm gonna say. This shows that we've learned from that situation. We don't want to have players that are fourth, fifth choice that we have heavy investment in, that potentially could lose their value and diminish their value. Him going back to Porto is a healthy environment, a place where he's already familiar. He came from and was doing quite well. We bought him for a decent amount of money, and he has not performed to that level. Let's be honest, Fabio Vieira at his time at Arsenal has played 33 games and has not been that significant in the Premier League in those 33 games. Besides maybe 2 games I can think of off the top of my head, there's not too many Fabio Vieira moments that come to mind. But the fact that they're saying with Moreno arriving and Waneri's rise, these are two things that I love to hear. They're planning for the entrance of a new midfielder that's much better than Fabio Vieira, taking a lot of the shine away from him. Also giving opportunity and clearing the pathway for Ethan Waneri. That is massive, massive news. And I need to know how everybody in the comment section feels. I remember when Fabio Vieira was signed, it came out of nowhere. And now the loan away seems like it came out of nowhere once again. I love it. Talk to me, bro. How you feeling, Deo, as I go through the comments?
I'm happy with the fact that we're moving our players, whether on loan or for sale, who we deem our surplus right now, just to bring in the right quality of people. And I've been saying this all summer. Arsenal fans need to chill out. This whole idea that we need to go sign 2, 3, 4 strikers, sign this, and I'm like, no, calm down. You have to look at where your team was and what exactly you need to be able to get over the line. It's not about just a striker doesn't guarantee we win the league. You know what guarantees we win the league? I'm going to say it again. I said it last season, and I'm going to say it again this
The
season.
midfield.
No, if we had just not conceded a goal to Aston Villa, if we had tied those 2 games, we win the league. Defense, and we short up our defense again. Defense wins championships, wins league. Offense wins games. Your defense will win. Defense will win us the cup, the league. That's what it is. In certain games, we just need to never concede, never, because we can score. A team that scored 91 goals last season can score. So the idea that a striker is the key thing, I hear a shout for that. But if we take out a Fabio Vieira and we bring in another winger, say for example, or even a striker, that means our front line, we have Leandro Trossard, Martinelli. Leandro Trossard can play across the front 3. We have Kai Havertz. Then we have Gabriel Jesus. Then on the right, we have Bukayo Saka and whoever else we bring in. That's good enough for me. That's good enough. But the idea that a striker is the final piece, I think it's jokes, because it's a team that scores anyways already. What we need to not do is make sure we do what we do regularly, which is score and never concede. Literally just never concede. That's why I like this Mikel Merino deal, because Mikel Merino is a dual monster. I like the fact that we have Declan Rice in there. Put a Declan Rice and Mikel Merino and a Martin Odegaard. With a Declan Rice and Mikel Merino in front of a back four of Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, and Ben White. Let me see who's trying to score at this point. That's the thing. And one thing that people, I mentioned in one other stream, I was talking about how we have many ways where Arsenal can score, and they'll be like, well, you were dependent on set pieces. Well, we got set pieces because we attacked. We got set pieces in dangerous areas because we attacked. It's part of the game. So if we attack you and you give away a corner and we have giants in there that can score from a header and go back and just defend that goal, too bad. It's on you. You gave us
look at some of the comments quickly. We got someone here asking about fantasy. The code is right there, guys. If you want to join the fantasy league, no problem. We had somebody here saying, "What up, gents? Doing well. Hope you're doing well. How far do you think Arsenal are going to? How far do you think Arsenal are going to get a striker? Can we win the league without a striker?" That's what you're answering, right? I think when it comes down to the whole striker situation, simply put, bro, we can still win the league without going and signing a striker. We just need to go and sign somebody who can make a difference in the front 3. It doesn't have to be a striker. We can go get a winger. We can go get more squad depth. We can go get more somebody else that can add more quality of depth, that can make us have players like Bukayo Saka be more fresh on certain days. And that's what we need. I don't think
that's true.
I don't think it's a situation where we're gonna go break the bank on a striker right now. I genuinely believe.
I think we're just going to get a white player.
They're going to give Jesus and Havertz one more season as the main 2 guys, and if we can get another winger, that will benefit us massively.
Yeah, we need a winger. We need a winger. Eddie's going out. We're getting rid of Eddie, and Fabio is leaving, so we have space to bring in a winger. And for me, I would not go for a striker that is no different from what we already have, because it doesn't make any sense. The striker that I want is Alexander Isak, and he's not available probably until next year. And so that's who I would go for. So I would rather bring in a winger to back up and show up the team, because this team can score. And I want to address something that someone said here, Milind. He says, no, goals win games. And how many did we score from open play? Is open play the only way to score goals? Because this is where the joke is on people. If your team, it doesn't matter. So because some teams score more from open play means they're better. No, we scored more goals than teams that scored from open play. It doesn't matter. It's getting the ball in the back of the net. If you can do it in multiple ways, you're a better team than the team that only knows how to score from open play, because you can counter those teams, you can block those teams, you can play a low block against them, and they'll just keep struggling to score. But we have multiple ways of scoring. That's number one. Number two, this idea that our goals got inflated in January to like March and April is also a fallacy. We only lost 2 games before December. By the way, we scored in all the other games that we played before December. We only lost 2 games before December. Do your maths again. So don't paint this picture that Arsenal wasn't scoring before December. It's just it's a rhetoric that you guys like to put out there that I think is just jokes. Because if you go back and watch every game, I think what we lost to Fulham and we lost to no, we drew with Fulham and we lost to West Ham, right? I think, and even the games that we drew, we scored in them. So what are we saying about not scoring? Now, if you say we scored more high volume goals,
Mattis is saying we can't depend on set pieces. I think what we've seen in preseason can tell you that we will be scoring a lot of set pieces still.
Listen, here's the thing. You're saying we can't depend on set pieces, but why are we getting set pieces? Because we're attacking. We're attacking is why we're getting set pieces. Nobody's depending on it. If you're attacking and then they hack your player in the corner or they kick the ball to the corner line and you have to take your corner, you should know how to score from it. So this idea that you can't depend on it is nonsense, because it's not like you're getting set pieces from your own side of the pitch, your own half. You're getting set pieces in dangerous areas, you know. So that's the thing. You're getting set pieces in dangerous areas. And if you're getting it there, it means your team is doing something right. You're retaining the ball, you're attacking, and the other team is committing themselves to giving you those set pieces. So why not be good at it? Why not be good at it?
You know what I want to look at? I want to look at Fabio Vieira's career at Arsenal before we quickly move on to him getting a loan. He really has not. Just look. You can just look at it in a quick vacuum. Can you say to yourself, Fabio Vieira really didn't do much? Like I think the most that he did was played in the Europa League that year, where he played almost every game in the Europa League in that year. But overall, what did he really do in his 2 years in the Premier League? Besides the Brentford game, his first game where he scored a goal, and a game where he came off the bench and he got 2 assists. Was that Fulham?
Yes, it was. Yes, I think it was. The thing is, we also have to put context. If Fabio Vieira had a lot of injuries back and forth, he's been off and on the pitch.
Would you classify him as a flop? Because I would.
I wouldn't yet, and I'll tell you why. Because I know that there's a player there. The point is the fact that it's like me saying Emil Smith Rowe is the flop because he hasn't scored for us in 2 years, but we know it's because of injuries. Because we've seen what he could do when he was able to play. Fabio, sadly, we haven't yet been able to see what he can do. So we can't really call him a flop.
What he was doing at Porto compared to what he was a one-season wonder.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we haven't yet seen that yet. So for me to call it a flop would be disingenuous of me because I haven't seen it. The point is, it's like me. It's just like I gave the example with ESR. Can I call ESR a flop? No. The fact that ESR got injured.
ESR,
that's what I'm saying. I'm putting context around it. I'm saying the fact that ESR got injured after we saw him play very, very well for a whole season or two says to us that he's not a flop.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Forget about your current thought process on what a flop is. If public opinion, if you were to show Fabio Vieira's game time, minutes, games played, and his impact in those games to anybody else, and the money we spent, I do classify that as a flop. Well, simply because he did not produce when available. When he came off the bench, maybe one time I can think of. And overall, when I think of players who I would consider flops, I would consider somebody who you spend 35 million pounds on to bring in to be some sort of rotation in the midfield, who can't even get into a game at times. I would classify him as a flop. If we do end up selling him today, you would probably classify him as a flop also.
No. See, I hear what you're saying. Like I simply just said it. There's a context behind why we probably haven't seen him. He hasn't had consistency in games. He's had a lot of injuries back and forth, and he's not bulked up enough for the league yet. So those factors, based on that context, because if I only select the fact that he hasn't performed when he has actually come in as a yardstick, then I'm being disingenuous, knowing fully well that there's been periods where he's been injured for 2-3 months. And then, of course, we all know that when you come back from an injury, you're never going to be back at 100% immediately. You need at least 3, 4, 5 games to get yourself back to 100%. And then you get injured again. And then you're out again. So I will say he hasn't, done what we brought him in to do. But I understand why it's happened. I can see the injuries. I'm not going to, just totally just be like, now a player who is not injured, like an Eddie, who doesn't get minutes as well, right? Who's consistently available but doesn't get minutes, will I call him a flop? I can't, because he just wasn't given minutes, right? So a flop is somebody who is readily, to me, my definition, a player who is readily available, fit, gets on the pitch and stinks up the place consistently. Like you're available, there's no excuses, no injuries, nothing. But every time you get on the pitch, you stink up the place. Now that's a flop to me. But when people have, because this sport, we all know that there's things that can happen. You know, Ramsdale is not a flop.
Bro, it's what do we say about this? We don't have a lot of creativity.
I don't understand what people mean by this creativity thing.
People are
Like,
saying, who is going to be the person who comes in when Odegaard's not playing?
you don't always have to play through your creative player all the time now. If Odegaard is not playing, I mean, let's be realistic here. If you look to the bench, are you saying if you dropped Gabi Jesus, right, and Bukayo Saka on that right hand side, that Gabi Jesus cannot run a madness on that in that central role where
So you're saying Gabriel Jesus is going to play as the 10?
Jesus can play. Jesus, the
I
way he
thought you were
drops
going to
down.
say Havertz. That's what I was
No. I'm saying, like, because Havertz is already pumping goal. Look, Havertz 15 goal contribution in the last 13 Arsenal games. I would not switch him from playing up front right now.
No. I'm saying in the case that Odegaard is not available, like he wasn't against Newcastle last season away from home, we started Havertz in the right 10 position, 8.
I agree with you, but what I'm saying is that then takes away from his. It takes away from his goals, though.
I'm just responding to Adam. I think we do have a lot of creativity. A lot of our creativity is actually from our fullbacks and our wingers. Not all of our creativity just comes from Odegaard. Odegaard alone doesn't make all that.
And it's funny. Can I say this as well? How many Odegaards are there in the world of football right now? Very few. So when people say, "Oh, if Odegaard,"
and that's it.
Yeah,
like
there's very few. There's very few.
Would you even classify Bruno Fernandes? No.
Yeah,
who else?
There's very few players like that, because the question is, you can never get the quality of Odegaard. Whoever you get to play that role, there'll be a massive drop off. There will
I think this is what it's going to be. The creativity issue is not going to be an issue unless Odegaard has a season-long injury. And in the case that Odegaard has a season-long injury, that we would have to manage with the likes of Havertz being played in 10, going with
playing in the 9, or whatever.
We're gonna have to take a page, or we're gonna have to take a page out of Jurgen Klopp and go with an industrial midfield of Rice, what do you call it, Jorginho and Partey, or Rice, Moreno and Partey, Jorginho, Rice and Partey. We're gonna have to go industrial, one or the other. Either way, we have enough creativity on the wings and in our fullbacks to be able to attack any team. I'm not too worried about creativity at this moment in time, because we do have a lot of depth. Like, do people realize how many players we have in this Arsenal team now? Like, let me just quickly show you guys what we have.
There's a thing that Arsenal fans do, which is they hear something on mainstream media. Oh, the creativity comes from here, and they run with it.
Look at this.
And they just run with it.
You got Partey. Partey, I wouldn't say he's just a defender. The guy can make ball playing passes. Jorginho, who's a deep line playmaker. Fabio Vieira leaving, he didn't even play much last season. He played 11 games.
That's what I'm saying.
Fabio Vieira leaving, we're not missing much. It's actually better for him to go out on loan. Then you look at this. You're telling me Saka doesn't create a lot. You're telling me when Jesus is on the pitch, he's not causing disruption. Like, I'm not even looking at Nelson and Eddie Nketiah. I'm just saying, from what we have in our midfield and our attack right now, adding Mikel Merino plus potentially adding more pieces, I think we got it covered for now. I think we're okay for now.
And if you look at what Mikel has also done, he's really bolstered that defense. And I still think people don't understand that sometimes in certain games, this is football. You're not going to, you want your team to win all the time, which is fair enough. I want Arsenal to win all the time, but there are games where your team is not able to score goals. It just happens. This is football. But what I would say is, in that situation, make sure you don't concede any goals. Take a point and leave. And that's what City did. Because when you pull up the stats again from last season, it is crazy that we both won 74% of our games. We both won 28 games apiece. They lost only 3 games. We lost 5. And the 5 that we lost in 2 of those games, all we needed to do was defend. 20 more minutes, we capitulated to Villa. They caught us on the counter and they
Madison
scored.
And Foden are not like Odegaard.
So yeah.
Madison and Foden, I wouldn't classify in the same bracket as Odegaard. I'd put them more like a Bernardo Silva, a midfielder who's more attacking than an 8. because I don't classify Madison or Foden really as midfielders who put in a lot of defensive work. What about you? I don't really get it.
I don't really think that they play the same role. Yeah, of course, they might play in the same position, but they don't carry the same type of threat. And like I keep saying, like Odegaard is a different type of player as regards to how he plays. He plays in pockets really, really well. Odegaard is very good in tight spaces. Um, Not many players are that good in tight spaces. So even if you bring somebody else to play that role, what you're calling the Odegaard creativity is the fact that you like him in tight spaces. That's what most people talk. Most people call Odegaard's creativity. His passes coming out of tight spaces, linking link of play. But if you put another player there, they can't do what Odegaard does. They'll do their own type of creativity, and you can't be like, oh, you guys still lack creativity. No, it's just a different style of creativity at this point. So yeah.
All right, let's go to the next thing.
Who's a Sasma Ukmas? If you're trying to say Dayo, my name is Dayo, not Dalu. You should at least spell it correctly.
You know
if you
what?
want to
Big
call
up
me
to everybody
delusional.
watching, by the way. We got 160 people watching. This is a Call of Duty, not the game. I'm calling for you guys to do me a favor. I need you guys to do me a massive favor because I have been letting you guys I've not been saying anything. I've been just letting the streams go on and on without mentioning it, but I have to mention it more. Please like the video. It helps out the channel massively, and you guys don't understand what it does for the YouTube algorithms and just overall to help me out. So it's free. You don't have to pay a penny. I'm not asking for a super chat. I'm not asking you to even subscribe at this moment in time. I'm just asking you to like the video if you're watching. But of course, if you want to subscribe and you think you can join the family, please do. And if you want to submit a super chat, we'll definitely do that. But always like the video, guys. It helps out the channel massively. And while we're at it, we had somebody in the chat ask to be a channel member. If you want to be a channel member, there is a pinned link to become a channel member, as that also helps the channel grow massively. Now, quickly, we're going to talk about Mikel Merino, but before we go on Mikel Merino, bro, did you see Mikel Merino's RB ref? Did you see Mikel Merino's references on what he is elite at? Like I was doing a little bit of research on Mikel Merino and how good he is at certain things. Bro, the guy is actually elite in certain categories of football. Like
he wins. I was watching a game. I watched the PSG game again. PSG versus Real.
Did you know how good he was in the air?
Yeah, I watched that game again. He literally won all his aerial duels, every single one of them. It was I watched it again because I wanted to see him play fully, like watch a whole game and just rewatch the entire thing. And I was like, this guy is a beast. This guy is a beast. And then I went back and watched the one with, I think it's Inter Milan.
1 second, please. I don't think you understand. Forget about 91 percentile in the final third. He is in the 99 percentile for aerial duels won.
That's ridiculous.
He has more duels won than Van Dijk, every center back in the world. This guy is, he's a midfielder, and he wins more aerial duels than Van Dijk on a gamely basis.
Yeah, he has apparently he has more aerial duels won last season, more combined than our two center backs, Saliba and Gabriel. he won more aerial duels than both our center backs.
So if anybody doesn't know, this is Mikel Merino's RB ref scouting report, and just to show you, I didn't even know he scored that many goals, to be fair, right? But one thing we want to talk about, he gets a lot of touches in the opponent's box. He is an 8 that is box to box. Literally the definition of a box to box 8. He will do everything you need to be done on the defensive end, and he'll do everything that needs to be done on the offensive end. This is insane, right? The aerial duels.
Is good. This is good because for me, at the end of the day, you have a Declan Rice there who also covers. That guy covers a lot of space, and those last ditch tackles that he puts in. So having a Declan Rice and having a Merino who wins aerial duels like a monster in front of your back four solidifies the fact that we'll keep the ball more. We'll win our first balls, we'll win our second balls, and the longer we keep the ball, we know we can score. Once we get into the final third, this is
why people criticize him though, Deo. People criticize him because he might not be the best at passing completions. And he's not the midfielder who keeps. They have Zubimendi over there at Real Sociedad who does that job for him. He does all the dirty work and all the stuff going forward. He's a little bit more of like I don't know who to compare him to, honestly, because even you can't
Yeah,
really
we also
compare.
we like we said, we have an Odegaard on the team who, if he wins those balls and he's giving it to Odegaard, Odegaard puts those passes through easily, to the right to the
Yeah.
right space in the final third. So I'm happy with getting the right profile, because one of the issues we had last season is our left side was not firing, and because of that, everybody knew that they could double mark Bukayo Saka on the right, and they wouldn't follow Ben White's overlap, because they're like, okay, this is the only side of Arsenal that is really doing any work. So they didn't really stress on the left side. And when they wanted to
And you know what this
Lingard,
reminds me of?
so
This 98%. This guy, I think he commented 91. Bro, it's 98. Mikel Merino is in the 98th percentile of winning the ball in the attacking third. That means we are going to
yep.
see more chances where we win the ball high up the pitch and immediately turn it into a goal or an attack. For example, do you guys remember when we played against who was it? Tottenham last season at home, the first game of the first game against Tottenham in the North London Derby at home. We won the ball numerous times high up the pitch. We're going to win it now even more. This is going to give us more opportunities to score quickly on the counter. This guy, his one of his specialties is defending in the attacking third.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. I like look, all I really feel is like Arteta wants this team to play a certain way, and certain profiles are what we need. The idea that some people still think, oh, you didn't get the right midfield or you're not getting the right attack. I'm like, no, you need to stop and look at the team. The team that finished last season finished 2 points less than Manchester City. It wasn't 10 points, it wasn't 8 points. We went far off from them. We won the same number of games that they won. We only lost two more than they lost, which means firstly, we need to make sure we don't lose games. So we strengthen where we're strong enough, which is defense. Strengthen that, which we did. Timber is back. That's like a new signing. Bringing in Calafiori, that's another new signing. So strengthen your strength, and then go back and look at the place where, all right, now in the left side was weak. We didn't really have any stability. Martinelli this week will play with this person, next week will play with that person. He's getting injured, he's out. Trossard comes in. Trossard does a good job throughout the season. But for me, it's like stability, like knowing fully well that these are the guys on the left, these are the guys on the right. That consistency is key if we want to be able to go on to win the league. So yeah, bringing in the right profile like what we've done right now is great. And we'll see how the season goes.
Yo, what's my guy Dizzy saying? Big up Dizzy, bro. Big up Dizzy. Dizzy, if you want to join, I'll send you the link on Twitter. Send me a message. I'll send you the link on Twitter, my guy. Big up Dizzy, man. OG on the channel right there. Haven't seen him in a long time. Let's quickly go through these. We spoke a little bit about them yesterday, but I want to ask you some quick questions before we talk about Mikel Merino and his situation. First thing I'm going to say is Adamana Lukman. What are you saying? Adamana Lukman, reportedly PSG are now after him, and he could be headed to PSG instead of Arsenal. I don't know if the Arsenal thing is actually true. So Arsenal might have been dealt a blow in the potential move for Adamana Lukman. Is he somebody who you seriously wanted, or do you? Because even Fabrizio himself said that this deal was never going to happen.
No, I mean, look, here's the thing about being linked to players. Like I always say, people would say whatever. People will come out and say whatever they want to say. The guy is a quality player. I don't necessarily think he suits where Arsenal is right now. I'm not saying he's not good enough for us. I need people to understand me. Does he get us over the line? Does he get us the EPL? Adding him as a piece to what we already have. So the way I've looked at this Arsenal team is last season, you lost the EPL by one game. One game, you needed to win one game, and that was the Aston Villa game. Win that game, you win the league. Any players you bring in now, do they win us those games? That's all I care about. It's like I care about those games that we lost and not the games that we won, because if we do the right things the right way, in the right positions, in the right profile, the right time, we will win the games that we're supposed to win. So for me, does he get me overboard to win the league? No, he doesn't. Is he an exciting player? Will he be great to have him and see him? Yes, but right now, not the right guy. So I would say somebody on the right wing. And like I said, if I had the power to go buy a player that I really think will get us over the line, I think it's Alexander Isak. And for me, I know it's not possible that we get him right now, but if you look at the business we've done so far, we've broken even. If Eddie goes, Smith Rowe, Lokonga out, Tavares out, Patino, all these other guys that we put out there, we've already sold close to about 70 million, and we brought in about 70 million.
Would you get his fellow countryman, Ozyman?
Osimhen changes how we
He's gonna
play.
end up at Chelsea. We know it.
I know, but he changes how we play drastically. I rate him as a quality player. Does he get me over the line? He does. He scores those goals in those games where we need to score. So I think yes,
But you know the thing is, at the same time, I could see him flopping in the Premier League at Chelsea. I could see Ozyman flopping at Chelsea.
So here's the thing about that. It's the club. To me, it's not the player. If the system is and we saw this with Arsenal years ago when the club was wonky and things weren't working, a lot of good players who came there just never fired properly. Aubameyang played well for a couple of seasons and then just started looking terrible. Nicolas Pepe, that was balling out in Lille, comes to Arsenal and just looks like crap. So when the system is bad, the players are going to. I mean, think about it. When the system started looking good, we brought in players like Aaron Ramsdale from a relegation club, and he looked like a really super great number one. So
I just want to point out, Arsenal have learned from this Aaron Ramsdale situation, hence why they swiftly moved Fabio Vieira on loan when they realized he wasn't going to get much game time and just devalue himself. We don't want a situation where we devalue our players that much ever again. So, but Arsenal have also rejected at least one loan offer for Aaron Ramsdale this summer, and they're expected to receive more. Arsenal want to sell Aaron Ramsdale. They don't want anything else but to sell him. If they receive a bid to purchase him, if it's not even the money that they want, they're not going to do it. They strictly want loan deals with an obligation to buy for their price, or straight up sales. You might get a little discount. That's what they're saying.
Yeah, that's good, man. Quick correction. Someone said Ademola Lookman is British. He might be British, but he played for Nigeria.
No, he's considered homegrown.
I know. I'm not saying he's not considered. I was just addressing something that the person said. I wasn't sure if they meant he's British, like he's not. Because someone said when you said, "Will you take his Nigerian brother?" And someone said, "Oh, he's British," and I was like, "Well, but he's played for Nigeria.
He plays for Nigeria, so he's technically Nigerian." But the Ramsdale one, I just wanted to mention quickly. The Nico Williams one, we can't trust the source. Miguel Delaney is probably one of the fakest journalists out there. Like anything he says, I don't believe. He's the one that said Aubameyang is going to Man City. He's the one that said Declan Rice to Man City's finished. Miguel Delaney don't know shit, bro. Like, I'll take it with a grain of salt. If they believe that Arsenal can still get Nico Williams, I have to see it to believe it. I know we interviewed him. I know he came to I know he came to London to speak with Arteta's team, but we'll see.
Here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about Nico Williams. Nico Williams has a release clause, right? And the point is convincing the player that you want him to come. If the player says yes, he's happy to come because he believes in the project, then you can just trigger that release clause without having to negotiate with the club. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's just like we did with Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey was a release clause, 45 million, go trigger it, boom. The player had already said he was happy to come, and we can just do that. So it's not impossible that it happens if they can convince him. But I think his preference is to stay. He's just got a new jersey number. He's really settled in. He's enjoying himself there. He's on high wages. So yeah, I doubt if he will. I doubt personally if he'll leave. But you know how football is. You never know.
Wait, this just happened? Southampton are in talks over a deal with Aaron Ramsdale. Bournemouth have basically signed Kepa, so they don't need Ramsdale. Wolves remain interested. Obviously, the club wants obligation. So yeah, I already mentioned that. Everything there I've already mentioned. Somebody in the chat said that David Ornstein said something. I know David Ornstein said something yesterday. Where is it? Let me find it. You know when you're looking for something, you can't find it? Yeah, David Ornstein spoke about him yesterday. Here it is. David Ornstein said, after Pedro Neto, Nico Williams is another person that Arsenal are interested in, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen.
But he said the problem here is he's already on a really high wage, which would only increase when he comes to the Premier League, which only when he comes to a league such as the Premier League and a release clause in his contract that would need to be paid in full, it would appear he's going to be staying. So it would appear that he's going to. That's why I said for me,
this could be a Thomas Partey situation.
Yeah, his release clause is what, 50 million?
Yeah.
And we've literally broken even, because if Eddie Nketiah leaves and we've already gotten rid of Emil Smith Rowe, that's full profit for us. And then you're looking at Lukonga and Tavares and Patina and all these other little deals that we did. We've done 70 million easy in sales, and we've done 70 million easy in players that have come in, which means we haven't really spent anything. We've literally broken even on which means we can go ahead and spend 50, 60, 70,
Hey, help
80
me
million.
out. How do you pronounce this guy's name? Is it Kamari?
Kamari Walker. I think it's Kamari Walker,
right?
Yeah.
Kamari Walker, big up to you for becoming a channel member. Really do appreciate it. And shout out to everybody else who's watching right now. We got 160 of you guys. Do me a favor, smash that like button. Smash it. Just take your finger and go bop, 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 and smash that like button. It's absolutely free. It helps the channel out massively. But yeah, finally, we gotta talk about the main thing that we came here for. None other than this man right here. He is boarding his flight. This was at 4 p.m. He's already in London now. He's coming to London.
Arsenal fans. I'm tired.
Mikel Merino is done. How long do you think it takes before they announce him?
I don't care about that. Look, it takes forever. Arsenal takes forever. We haven't even announced Calafiori properly. Like,
what?
We haven't.
We did announce Calafiori.
But you know how, like, okay, well, we don't. Did you see? Hold on, before this, by the way, side, before we jump back to Merino, did you see the Atletico Madrid announcement of their new players?
Yeah,
Atleti do it big.
No, but they do that in Spain. But understand, we're not gonna hold a friggin' announcement.
No, I get it. No, I'm just saying.
We're not gonna do.
I'm not.
The reason why Atletico Madrid do that is because they do that for players. Not every single player. They don't do that for every player.
I know. I'm not saying that they do for every single.
They did that for Julian Alvarez because he's like
you're missing. No, they did it. Their female players were there. Female players of their female team, and even their under 21s all came out. It wasn't just for the.
I don't think that's a good idea, because there's windows where we've only had Petacek, and you're not going to have people.
Yeah, but we have under 21s. We have our female.
We should have done it for That's just not the nature in the English game.
I agree with you.
Do it for Erling Haaland.
Listen, hear me out. I'm not comparing. I'm just saying, did you see it?
Man United did it one time.
I just thought it was amazing because I've seen them do it before, but I was like, this one that they did this year was pretty dope. Like, I just really enjoyed seeing it. I'm not saying we have to do it. We don't have to do that. I'm saying, but the way they announce their players is one time for all the players once they've gotten everybody in. And
I thought Arsenal smashed it last year with the Declan Rice announcement. They had the video ready. Everything was perfect. I thought they did good. You know what the best announcement was? Did you see the Fabio Vieira announcement? They basically started tweeting, and every letter, the first letter of every tweet for that day, spelled out Fabio.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Yeah. So in the past, they have done good announcements. They just don't do it in person in the stadium.
The Max Cano said it looked like a WWE thing.
If ever they should have done that, it was when we signed Ozo.
I don't even care for us to do it. I'm just saying I liked it. I just enjoyed. That's why I said it's a topic on the other side. I said I just enjoyed watching it, and I was like, this is so cool. Like, I don't care. Teams don't have to do it, but I just like that Atleti have their own way of announcing their players. So back to Mikel Merino. Mikel Merino is on his way. Arsenal fans, how do we just track players up and down, taking pictures of the man at the airport, following him everywhere?
Who took the photo?
We don't know.
Oh, no,
it's the same way they took pictures.
It's a Spanish outlet took it.
I know, but I'm saying, like, it's the same way they took pictures of Isak when he came to
London.
Gabriel
Magalhaes? They realized where he was based on looking at the sky.
Arsenal fans are loonies.
Well, like every transfer window, Arsenal fans turn into detectives. Who did they track this summer? Wallahi, they tracked. What do you call it? A certain player's Instagram to see what his partner was saying about him cheating and some madness. It was crazy, some craziness. The Calafiori cheating scandal. That was like, that took up like 2 days. Did you not see that? Calafiori's girl saying he's going to the thing. I think it was fake. I think somebody made that up. But yeah.
People are
Also,
crazy.
Arteta spoke about Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling is not happening. That's not happening. Like Raheem Sterling is not happening. He did say he likes Raheem Sterling. He rates Raheem Sterling, but that's not happening. We heard it from Kia, a friend of the
Yeah.
show, Kia, head of Football London.
I honestly think that right now the whole Arsenal administrative team,
Here
the
we go.
medical team, the coaching team, and everybody are sitting down and saying the players we get have to get us over the line. Like that's what they're looking at. So
But this is
I
great
rate some of
news.
these players.
1 second. This is great
Yeah.
news. I was on the football terrace yesterday, and people were talking to me as if Raheem Sterling is Eden Hazard, and I'm disrespectful to reject him. Like, what are we doing? The guy is, I'm not saying he's finished, but with his wages and how poorly he's performed for the last 2 seasons, it's not recency biased. There was no reason for us to even look at him. Deo?
Sorry,
Oh,
1 second, sir.
no worries, no worries. But yeah, by the way, yesterday on the terrace, people were moving mad. There's nothing wrong with saying Mikel Merino signing is not an exciting signing, but it is. I'm still happy. You can be happy. Not every signing has to be exciting, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is how I look at it. If this was 2 seasons ago or 3 seasons ago, I would be underwhelmed with the Mikel Merino signing. I would be very underwhelmed because I think that seasons ago or 3 seasons we needed like superstar players to come get us, to catch up to Man City. We were still like 5 points, 7 points, 10 points behind them at certain times in the season. But where we are right now, the team, the level that we are at, and where we are competing at, it's the fine margin. So Mikel Merino comes in to do a job, and that's what we need. We need.
Also, Arteta announced something crazy today. We have a new midfielder. Did you hear? You didn't hear?
I didn't hear that though. When did he announce that?
Timber.
Yeah, he is. He can play in various positions. Yeah,
Arteta,
God.
if on Timber is an option on the midfield, yeah, he is. He can play various positions. He's versatile and is one of his biggest strengths. He played some quality minutes the other day.
Yeah, well, hey, look, Timber is a very versatile player. Let's be realistic. Left back, right back, and then the overlap on the right side. Did you see him in the last game that we played? The overlap when he came in for the few minutes, Timber cutting back in. I'm just like, how did he even get Timber? How did you get here? Are you not supposed to be defending at the back? But yes, it's not it. Look, this is why I'm excited about this season because our player rotation can be crazy. You can see certain players. Calafiori is an exciting player to see what he's going to do. Playing in that left back role, or maybe bringing him inverting, or bringing Timber on the right hand side, resting Ben White for the next game. Like we have options, So fingers crossed nobody gets injured, even though injuries are part of football. But fingers crossed our players don't get injured. I think we'll see what happens. And Nottingham Forest coming for Eddie Nketiah is a good thing. I think that should be done pretty much very soon.
Nah,
If they
Saka,
do it
keep
and that
Saka
and
away
that
from the
happens,
number 14. Number 7 is his.
why
No,
does that
I don't
even
think
this number
anybody should wear
14
the number
nonsense? You guys
14
should all let
until
it rest.
no one should wear the number 14 until we bring in a
Yeah, they should
striker.
let it rest. Somebody
Until
No,
we
no,
bring
no
a
striker
striker.
should even like. What's the look? Thierry Henry. Listen, Thierry Henry made the number 14 the number 14 because it was Thierry Henry. Let's not now take what Thierry Henry has done, which nobody else might be able to replicate, and put it on the number and say, well, anybody who wears the 14 has to replicate that. That's nonsense. It's
I'm
such
not gonna lie,
a
bro.
shallow way
The
of
funniest
thinking.
thing we could do, Deo, is one day just sit down and talk about all the times Arsenal fans asked us to sign players that are absolute bums. Because there's so many bums. Do you remember when people were begging for Emerson Royale instead of before we signed Tomiyasu? James Madison, who I liked. I wanted James Madison. There was, bro, people wanted Neto. You know Neto, the Barcelona ex-keeper.
Yeah, I
They
remember.
wanted him. They wanted him instead of Ramsdale. They're like, why do we pay money for Ramsdale? Guys wanted Lewis Dunk.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like you when you don't know what the manager is planning on how he really is planning to play, then you can never know the type of profile players that he's looking for. You can only look from the outside as a fan and say, oh, because and the thing about fans is we watch a game, we watch a performance, and then we look at other games and say,
Look
oh,
at Martinez.
this player will fit very well here. Martinez was a good goalkeeper, but there was something about Martinez and the style of play Arsenal wanted to do that wasn't going to work. And so they let him go. But people just don't understand that you have to create an identity for your team. And that's what Mikel was doing. He created an identity first. 2 seasons ago, when we were playing fast, free-flowing football, and they were like, "Oh, Arsenal is high-flying." I'm like, "This is not sustainable football," and he knew that as well, because we were one injury away from not doing any. And once we had an injury to Thomas Partey and Saliba, season was over.
It was.
So now we're at the point where I think we just need the right profiles, like I said, and once those pieces are there, boom, I think we're golden and we're good to go.
And I think we're going to wrap it up here. But just to say one more thing, I got into a fight with someone today. They tried to tell me that Arteta loaning out Saliba to Marseille was a big mistake. We should have kept him. We would have got top 4 that season. I said to them, if Arteta didn't loan him out to Marseille, he wouldn't have been as polished for the season after where we challenged for the league. He wouldn't have been the player that he is today if he didn't have all those loans. But people are like, no, he was good enough to play for our team from day one. And I'm like, day one.
It's called revisionist history now. People just
no, they're trying to still do this thing that Arteta hates.
If Saliba, listen. If Saliba had not gone to Marseille and had flopped in his first season at Arsenal, they would have said, "Oh, Arteta bought this guy. Look at him, Saliba. He's such a flop." The manager looks at the player, says he still needs development. If we keep him at the club, the club will be paying his salary. He's on wages. We're adding money to what the club is. We have players here that we're trying to get rid of. We can't get rid of. Adding somebody else to it. Meanwhile, he can go get minutes, develop, get better. Salary is paid by the other club. We don't have to carry that weight. And by the time he comes back, we would have removed these other guys that we want to remove. It's called building an identity, and people just don't get it. They think it's done overnight.
He turned down a loan deal to Newcastle to go to Marseille, which was the right move.
Yeah.
Who wanted him in a friggin' what was it? What was the manager? Newcastle before Eddie Howe? What's his name?
Who's that?
The former Newcastle manager. What's his name?
I don't remember who it was before Eddie Howe. To be honest, I've totally forgotten who it was.
Steve Bruce. Imagine Saliba playing under Steve Bruce. Would that have helped his development? I don't know, man. People are moving mad. Anyways, and the final thing, there's one more person who.
But that's what I'm saying. You're saying Rob Holding was getting serious minutes. I'm saying if we kept Saliba, you're just looking at the football.
Oh, there's one more person who picked a fight with me. They told me Arteta can save Mikel Merino. Please, did you watch last night versus Servette? Mikel Merino is unsavable.
Did you hear what Enzo Maresca said about him? Did you see that interview? Enzo Maresca said, they said, he said, yeah, he's a tack. He's like a tack. You know what that means? He was trying to he said Mikel Merino is like a coin. If you flip it, you don't know what you'll get. He's a tack. Heads or tails, you never know. He needs to work on it and do better. This is what he said in an interview. He called him a tack.
You know what? I rate that. He's being honest.
He called him a tack.
He's being honest.
Yo.
He's being honest. I like it.
No, he's being honest, but it was the way he said it was so funny. He was like, Mikel Merino is the tack. He's a tack. You never. I said, what's tack? So I go do my research and find out that he was basically saying he's a coin.
Whenever we go on shows with Chelsea fans, if Arsenal were as bad as they were right now, and we had all the things going on that they had going on, the amount of criticism we would get from the national media would be so much more. Chelsea actually don't get treated the same way as Arsenal or Man United.
Arsenal and Man United are the most hated clubs. Let's just call a spade a spade. And the only reason, I don't know why they hate the club so much. There's always something.
It's because Liverpool haven't won too much during our lifetime. Arsenal and Man United were the two teams that probably ruined people's childhoods.
Well, I guess so. And those people whose childhoods were ruined are the ones who are now adults and the ones in power running the media. So it's like,
there you go.
It's like, yeah, we got to put them down. But yeah, man, I'm excited about this new signing, Mikel Merino. Merino is.
I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm not like excited.
I'm excited about the season. I'm excited about how
Rice deal was more exciting, obviously.
No, I don't mean I'm excited about I'm excited about the season and knowing that we now have profiles that can play in those positions that we were lacking in. Like that's what excites me. Like I'm not comparing the signing of both players. No, I'm saying.
So you're happy. You're just happy. You're not. Excited to me is like I'm ecstatic. I'm going crazy. Like woo! I'm happy to see
crazy. I'm crazy. I'm excited because we needed the left center date. Left-footed,
fair enough.
like that for me, like that was something that was key. I was like, when are we getting the player like this?
Fair
Somebody,
enough.
somebody that can do the job there. That's all I ask. Look, do your
Hopefully
job.
everyone enjoyed this video though. I'm gonna wrap it up there, yo. Big up to you for
Yeah.
joining me. I don't know if you got something else going on later today. You got anything else?
No, I don't. I don't have anything else going on later today.
All right. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Hopefully there's something that happens tomorrow that we can speak about. As for right now, I'm going to try to go live whenever there's any news. I'm not going to try to go live every day for no reason, obviously. But Arsenal games tomorrow. After the Arsenal game, I'll go live. Deo, if you're not on the terrace, jump on. We'll have a conversation after the game. And yeah, we're out of here, people. You already know what it is. Peace.